I was lucky to be exposed to music a lot when I was a child, and I went to opera and ballet performances and theaters and classical music performances quite a lot when I was very little. I actually don't remember my first opera, but the first one that I do remember is Prokofiev's The Love for Three Oranges, which is this raucous, awesome 1930s opera that actually I believe I premiered actually in Chicago in the 1920s, which is crazy, even though it's by a Russian composer. But I absolutely love that work. It's crazy and over the top and absurdist, and especially as a kid, it just blew me away. It's a good question. There are so many. It's such a difficult question to answer, because often I find that the opera I'm working on at the time becomes my favorite opera as I dig into the score and become so attached to it. There are a great many operas in the Russian repertory that unfortunately haven't made it to the States, and some of those I find really, really exciting. We mentioned The Love for Three Oranges, which of course premiered here in Chicago and is such a great piece. Also, Prokofiev's other works are phenomenal. Shostakovich's The Nose, which is another really fun piece that recently was performed. Tchaikovsky and Rimsky-Korsakov have so many beautiful operas. Tchaikovsky's Iolanta is phenomenal and just so moving and beautiful, and is also an opera that I saw when I was still very young and that I hold very dearly to my heart. And there's also a great deal of new work coming out today that I find really, really exciting. Missy Mazzoli's Breaking the Waves, which premiered very recently, is so moving and just so beautifully crafted. Also, Jake Heggie has been writing some really amazing work. Of his operas, Moby Dick is probably my favorite, but there are, again, so many that are being written by composers who are living today, who are living in this country today. I was sad in a way to find out when I got this position that, and we didn't know this until we did some research, but that I was the only female music director of a major opera company in this country. But I think it's starting to change, and there are so many amazing women doing work out there, conducting and directing and doing behind the scenes work, leading companies. There are more and more women executive directors and artistic directors of organizations. Nicole Paymont with Opera Parallel, and who's also the principal guest conductor at Dallas, is doing some fantastic work. And I've been part of a program with the Dallas Opera, the Institute for Women Conductors, which is helping to identify women who are doing exceptional work and allowing them to get noticed for the work that they're doing. But certainly diversity in any field is important, because with diversity of perspectives, we can have a richer artistic experience. The more different life experiences the people working on a project are bringing into the project itself, the more richness we can add to our interpretations. So I was born in Russia, and I grew up largely in St. Petersburg, and then my family immigrated to upstate New York, to the Albany area. And I was very fortunate to start my musical education in Russia, and I still try to go back regularly. I have a dual citizenship. But what that's allowed me to do, and the fact that I'm completely fluent in both languages, has allowed me to really embrace Russian repertory and to bring more of it to this country. And while I was living and working in Boston for some time, I had an opportunity to present a number of Boston premieres of major Russian works, including what we believe to be the American premiere of a Russian language full production of The Snow Maiden, Snegurочка by Rimsky-Korsakov, which is a wonderful opera. We did Queen of Spades and Aleko and other major works in Boston. And to me, one of the advantages for Russian music right now is there was a large number of Russian immigrants coming to the States in the 90s, and so there are more and more singers and coaches in this country who have a thorough knowledge of the language, and it's become more and more standard for singers to receive that coaching and that experience in their conservatory training. So it's now become possible to mount staged Russian works because artists have the expertise. Russian ice cream. It's not like American ice cream, and I have very rarely found ice cream in this country that comes even close to the quality of Russian ice cream. Has something to do with where the dairy comes from, how cows are raised, whether it's pasteurized or not. I don't know. I don't know all the details, but Russian ice cream, even at the simplest side of the road kind of place, to die for.